Basically, we've been doing some car reviews, and that's been going pretty well for us. But what I kind of wanted was to let all of our followers, let the people who enjoy our content, kind of get a feel as to how we got into this, why we got into this, cars we've owned, cars we've liked, cars we aspire to own, whether future cars or near future, distant future, whatever. And I feel like you're the one that should take this away at this moment in time and not bore us to death with grandparents.
Thanks. Yeah. No, but it is my grandfather. He owned a really popular upholstery shop back in the day. People from, I guess you could say, like a good part of the upper Northeast would come all over to get work done from him. I was taking the car shows when I was a kid. I was seeing anything Model A's, Model T's, and then, seeing those old 50s, 60s, classics. So here's the thing. I'm not gonna know model numbers or
horsepower.
No, maybe depending on if I really love the car, I'll do that, like off of the look. But really, it's appreciating the artistic side of what a vehicle is. You know what I mean?
Artistic. Oh, okay.
Artistic, not autistic.
All right. What have you owned?
Okay, so I've pretty much always been the broke college kid. So did leases, Maxima.
He's already playing the starving artist.
I went Nissan. I basically gone the whole Japanese route. So Nissan. I had a Maxima for a while, which I loved, which is you're just a kid. You don't really know much cars. So that was a little fast for me back in the day. And then I kind of just went all SUVs, so Pathfinder, shit like that. And then recently, because I couldn't find anything when my last lease was up, and it was the only thing on the market for a decent monthly price, I wound up going into a Camry.
And you have the Jeep.
Oh yeah, and then I have a '96 Grand Cherokee Laredo, I bought that from a neighbor, and it was like it ran fine before I bought it, and then all of a sudden weeks later something else, and it's like.
So let's correlate the issues with the person who owns it. I feel like you just don't know how to drive.
Listen, everything I own, I use it as a tool. Cameras,
correct.
Cars. Listen, I mean, at one point I did a 3-year lease on a what's it called? What was it? A Nissan Rogue, because it was affordable, and it was a mom car. I'll give you that. Yeah,
Did you bring it back with all 4 wheels?
I did drive it like a rally car. Yeah. Yes, I did. I think you saw me do that one day too.
Jesus
Christ. Yeah, it was to say the least. But on the other hand, where I'm more of the normal consumer, 3-year leases, maybe have a beater car for going back into for work like I have with the Jeep. You're on the different spectrum, my friend. You are very special.
I wouldn't say it's special. I really love cars. From a kid, I've always enjoyed cars. My dad used to take us to the Javits Center and watch all the new cars that came out, and honestly, I just have a love-hate relationship with all cars. I love them when I get them, and then I hate them by 3 months later. But the reality is, I've just enjoyed that fun, not necessarily speed fun, but the new tech, the new whatever in the cars.
I understand that, but
listen, am I practical in my
No.
All right. Are there days where everyone wants to beat the crap out of me? Yes.
Like right now? Yes.
Will that ever change? Probably not.
It's not. It's never going to. I accept that as being one of your closest friends.
So, kind of like what Dave's referring to is, my first car was a 1999 Mercedes C230. I started driving in 2009, by the way. 18 years old. Remember? Do you ever see the Mercedes C230 that I had?
Wasn't it kind of rotting in a
dude
driveway
that car was a piece of shit
later?
Yeah, my dad literally found it at a used car dealership for $3,000. It had 140,000 miles on it, but he knew me. He's like, yo, this kid is wild. He's definitely gonna break any car that I give him, so I might as well give him a piece of shit car. So that was my first car, and then I went to a 2010 Acura RDX in 2 years, brand new, from the dealership, pulled out. Yo, 2 years later, 68,000 miles on the car.
That's when I first met you and told you, can you please shut the fuck up? I can hear you from 3 tables away.
Correct.
Yeah.
There you go. So, had that. Sold it, and then I got I bought a used 2010 BMW X5 diesel, one of my favorite cars. Had it for 2 years. And then
That's surprising coming from you.
My dad G'd me on that one. He's like, yo, you never got me a birthday gift, thanks. And he just took my X5 away from me. So he's like, here, figure it out on your own afterwards.
Weren't you paying for it?
Yes, but that does not stop my father. The car was literally paid off. And he was just like, nope, it belongs to me now.
So you paid off your car, and your dad was like, I've done enough for you. I'm going to take this.
The next car I got was a 535M Sport that I leased. And I literally go to him, I'm like, yo, Dad, they're giving me 21 grand for the X5 to trade it in towards the lease. And he's like, yo, that's stupid. What are you paying for the lease? It's like, I don't know, like $600 a month. And he's like, all right, so do the math. He's like, you're never going to get to the $21,000. He's like, give it to me, and I'll give you a check for the 21 grand. Yeah, it never happened. I went, whoo.
Your own father scammed you. I love that.
Yo, dude, my dad G'd me on that one.
Oh.
So then I got the 535M Sport package, broke as hell, because obviously I didn't have the 21 grand that I wanted. Had that for 3 years. I had that for the full entirety. Actually, I gave it up 4 months early.
Okay, but then I think it was after this car when...
It all went downhill?
It all went downhill, where it's like, you were making decisions that were
correct
credit crippling decisions. I saw you. What was the next car?
So then all of our friends were like super big into the American scene. Everybody had like the SRT Hellcats and
this is when it happened.
So then I got the Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT, brand new. I financed. That was my last finance. I'll never finance a car again in my life.
That lasted a little bit of time.
That lasted 1 year. 1 year.
I'm very proud of you.
It went from February 2017 to February 2018. And then I realized between speeding tickets, 9 miles to the gallon that I was getting, and just like the cost of the car itself, it was seriously not worth it. Like absolutely not worth it.
You know what's funny? You're saying now like, oh, $9 to the gallon, but back then, that was when gas was still just under $2.75.
No, because I was putting premium. That was like when gas was like $3.05, $3.50.
For premium, yeah.
Dude, and it still cost me $100 a week. And it wasn't even that. Because I was always hanging out with you guys and driving around and going here. It was like $150 a week, bro. And I'm sitting there. I was like, what, 20? Jesus Christ, 2017.
You're what, three older than me?
Yeah. So wait, 2017. I was 26, and I'm sitting there. And I'm like, dude, I can't do this anymore.
This is the year I started coming back around. From
the city. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, this is like, how do all these kids afford? Like, are their parents like loaded as hell? Like, I can't afford the gas in this car anymore. So I gave that up, and then I made a mistake. I thought to myself, okay, I did so much work on the 535. I had done downpipes, intake, tunes. We had lowered it the whole 9 yards. We had thrown so much money into it that, and, that was my fast car. Then I had the SRT. That was another fast car. And I'm like, yo, I'm going to relax. I'm going to get a normal, simpleton car. I am now 27 years old. I should act my age, be responsible with my financials. And I went and got a 2018 Audi A4.
Whoa. Did you just actually say to me, of all people, you're going to act your age?
Imagine, bro. I was trying. At least nobody could say I never tried. I tried. I got the A4, and
feel
that
like you're
lasted.
Just like a bad gambler who's lying to himself.
Correct.
I'm not gonna place that bet.
So you know the guy who goes to the table, and he's just like, all right, I'm only gonna play $100, and he loses $100. Like, all right, I got 500. That's it, 500. I'm done.
Yes,
and then it's like, I lost that. Fuck. Okay, 1,000. That's it. Bottom line. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
I just keep trying to dig myself out of the hole.
I don't know how.
Hold on, it gets better. So 2018 Audi A4, right? Had it for 9 months. Then I realized that everybody was making fun of me because I was driving.
I wasn't making fun of you at all.
An overpriced Jetta. That was the running joke of the crowd.
I never said it like that. You did?
No, I never said it like that either. I believe it was Antonio who goes, yo, bro, sick overpriced Jetta. Would you pay $30K over sticker? And I'm like, what do you mean?
You let one person's...
No, because then it went from Antonio to like someone else, and then someone else, and then I would meet up with you guys, and like, yo, that overpriced, and I'm like, son of a bitch, man, like, why did I even get an A4? Like, I don't even understand. Like, I just kind of backed out of it, and I was kind of like, all right, fuck it, it wasn't worth it.
And then this is where the downhill happened.
So this is where it really spiraled out of control. Then I got myself a Grand Cherokee, high altitude.
Worst decision you started to go down? Not because I don't like Jeep. It's because of who you
in January of 2019. Yes, hold on. In October of 2019, I traded in for the X4 M40.
I get that, but here's the thing. I'm not saying it's because I don't like Jeep. I love Jeeps. I really do love Jeeps.
Jeeps are great.
I love Jeeps. But here's the problem. It's you.
It's always me.
You can have at the end of the day, what it really comes down to, and I think that's why this car fits you the most, the iX, is because, yes, it's got room. It's a nice, beefy SUV, but it still has power.
We'll get to that. And I'll explain what my thought process is first.
Because you jump so much.
Hold on.
It's not even funny.
So, we got the 2019 X4 M40. Loved the car. But then it wasn't fast enough. So then, a year later, in 2020, I got the X3M. But then, I messed up. Because I didn't get a competition X3M. So now, it was like, oh man, I'm missing that extra 36 horsepower. I really want that 36 horsepower. I want to go for it. And then I realized, all right, I have the X3M. It's like my 5th or 6th BMW at this point in my life. I'm kind of getting bored of it. This is the kicker, bro. This is where all of you guys make fun of me. What was the next car?
Is it the Wrangler?
It was a Wrangler. I got a Wrangler 4xe.
I went by.
Oh my God.
I remember coming into your job, and you were like, no, I got a couple minutes free. Come on in. I got to talk to you about something. I'm like, all right. And you go, yo, I want a dope, sick, like, weekend warrior. And I'm going to myself, what is he thinking about getting now? And the next thing out of your mouth was, doors off, Wrangler. And I'm like...
Because in my mind, I'm like, yo, doors off, top off, beefy tires. You put a tow winch in the front, steel bumpers all around. Like, that thing would be like the mecca of cars. What deterred me from the Wrangler? Aside from the fact that it is absolutely dog shit uncomfortable. Like, what a like 10 steps back I went.
You don't buy a Wrangler for comfortability. You buy it for a larger array of things.
No, dude. Okay, so I get it. If I lived in like Montana or whatever, like some of these like smaller towns where like going to the beach on the sand is like a thing to do, or going off-roading on the mountain thing to do. No, we live in like the dead center city of New York. Like the closest thing to me off-roading is like 4 inches of snow. Like on a dune outside of like a Wendy's when like you want to park like an ass.
Given some of the roads here do feel like you're off-roading, but...
Correct, but nowhere near to the point where you need a Jeep. But what deterred me from the Jeep, hold on. Well, this is what really annoyed me. I got the 4xe, thinking, okay, it's half electric, half gas. It'd be pretty cool. I'm not going to spend money on gas as much, whatever. Yeah, that didn't end up working out at all to the way that I assumed it would. And then the guy goes to me, you can't do any of the crazy stuff you want because it's a 4xe. The electric motors, like if you put beefier tires, you run the risk of like blowing out the motor. I don't even remember what this guy was telling me. All I heard was wah wah wah, and I'm like, yeah, nope. That car lasted, guys, no joke.
You didn't make a first payment.
I didn't even make my first payment. That lease, I gave it up in 3 weeks. On the 22nd day that I owned that car, I went to Cadillac and we got the CT5e Black with me, you, and Antonio.
Oh my God. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, I'm the type of person, like, when your buddies get, or someone you know gets a new car and they're like, oh, drive it. I'm the type of person who will not drive it. I just won't. You know that about me.
Yeah,
it's not mine. I don't own
you.
it. I don't own it. I respect people's shit and everything. And, you know, obviously, if I get into like a nice little fast car, I want to hit it. I want to abuse it a little bit. You know what I mean? And
yeah, we all do. That's why we get them.
Yeah, but again,
I don't know. You've been doing perfectly fine with the iX.
Oh yeah, it's a different story.
Doing 100 miles an hour down the LIE.
I did not do that.
No,
I did not do that.
No. The gauge was broken.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it. The gauge was just stuck at 100.
Maybe finally you're rubbing off on me a little bit. How's that?
Oh, for sure.
It just took probably 10 years.
Yeah, there's no
or
way.
9, whatever it is, but
you drove the CT5e.
Yeah, because you literally wouldn't leave the parking lot until I got in the driver's seat.
Yeah, man. Listen, it's meant for all to enjoy.
You literally picked up the car and we got a coffee, and it was like 9:30 at night or some shit. And you're like, I want coffee. I'm like, okay, crackhead. And you're like, yeah, we're not leaving until you drive it. I want your opinion. I'm like, then why'd you get it? Why did you even get the car?
I got the car because Antonio was like, yo, bro, what do you not see on the road anymore? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, Cadillac.
You were very impressionable, I can tell you that.
My God.
You were so impressionable, it's not even funny.
Yo, and in my mind, I'm like, yo, Escalade's pretty dope. Cadillac, all right, a little bit of an older person's car, but maybe like the new ones are gonna like aspire me to like go American finally. Because I've always wanted to drive American cars. It's just American cars are not like built as good as German cars. They're not rock solid. Every American car will rattle inside. The tech is like 2-3 years older than German cars.
But that's what we're known for. I mean, besides some of the things that
Correct.
are coming out of Jeep that are like pretty, like
No,
really
so
top
yeah,
notch.
but all of them are.
Or like say an Escalade. When they're putting affordable American motors that are fast, like say the Camaro for example, that is for the average consumer to be able to afford that car but still get their speed. You know what I mean? And it's a big target market. I mean, given the Hellcat is not cheap at all.
Point was that the CT5V was not my style, and then
Yes.
after 3 months of owning that car, I got rid of it, and then I got the BMW M850, which I think is no BMW. We do not want to speak to you at the current moment.
If that goes off, I'm gonna lose my shit.
So, I don't know why you would lose your shit. You need to have more patience.
I'm cranky this morning. My neck hurts. Besides the point.
So, besides the point, correct. Then I got the M850, which I think all of us said was like the best.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that was like my favorite car too for a while.
Yeah. Until you couldn't get out of it.
Yeah, until I realized I have lower back pains and driving into that little car was not practical on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
But the other thing was I also did like a tune, a downpipe, and intake, like all
did a
that
lot,
stuff.
though.
Yeah.
You actually spent a decent amount. I think you.
I got bored of it quick though. Like I feel like that car was either gonna get me in trouble or
Well,
dead.
you know what's funny? When we did the first review on the iX and we went into that i4, and you were contemplating before getting this, you were like, I want the i4. I told you you're gonna get bored of the i4, because I don't know what it was.
It wasn't as techy as the iX.
No, it had, I would say, just a little bit less.
Yeah.
But I think it's the sound that this makes as an electric car.
Oh, come on, man.
Helps.
I blast the
Helps it.
radio 98% of the time. I don't
Not
even know
even-
that
no, but
this,
it's not even that. There's something
this car
about-
makes noise anymore.
There's just something about this car that it's always, you get a joy out of it. You see what I'm saying?
We'll get to this car because this car was already like the conclusion at this point of my cars. So we got the M850. That lasted 4
I'm
months.
losing fucking track again, bro.
Exactly. Then I got the 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee Summit Reserve.
Oh Jesus, yeah. This was another short stint.
And as stupid as it may sound, I really wanted the car because it had the little side display, the little remember the TV screen that I had on the dashboard? I thought that was so cool.
I was in the car once, and you had it for like 2 months.
Yeah, no, it didn't really last because it was slow. And I had the V8 too. Because I'm like, yo, V8 Jeep, it'll be fun, it'll be somewhat fast. No, that was bad.
I don't think you realize it takes a lot of tolerance to be your friend.
What you should have seen was the guy at Bayside Jeep where I traded in the car. He's like, you're giving up an M850 for a Jeep Grand Cherokee? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you okay? And I was like, yeah, bro. Like, I think it's gonna be super dope.
Oh, I remember going into the dealership with you.
He goes, yo, do you have like 4 kids or something that you need the space?
I remember that you were talking about the car originally with him, but you never told him what you had.
Yeah.
And then I had to run right before, I had to leave right before you told him. I didn't know he said this to you.
Oh, no.
I'm glad he did.
Yeah, he questioned my decisions very quickly. Then we got the Audi SQ5.
Yes.
That was a very short stint too.
That was,
Yeah, February to July.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That was a piece of shit car. Sorry guys, whoever drives an Audi SQ5, but you should burn it.
It's not even that.
Oh my god, it's 100% that. It's slow, the tech sucks, the interior is a 5 out of 10 at best, bro. Like, maybe for like Stevie Wonder, it's like a 10 out of 10, because you can't see anything. But like, no, bro. Like, I don't even know what was going through my head when I got that car. Like, I feel like a part of me was
You
just like,
wanted to get out of a Jeep. That's
no,
what it was.
I honestly, I just feel like self-sabotaging myself. Because honestly, looking back at it, the Jeep was 100 times better drive, air suspension, coolest technology, huge screen, the whole 9 yards. And then I got into the Audi SQ5 thinking, okay, you know, SUV still, okay, you know, New York roads, cool. I'll put a downpipe, I'll tune it. And then I go to the first shop that I do all my tunings at, and I go to the guy, I'm like, yo, I want to tune it. He goes, dude, it's a 23. The ECU's locked. I was like, so I can't do nothing? He's like, no, not yet. I was like, how long do I have to wait? He's like, when'd you get it? I was like, February of 2023. He's like, yeah, a year, bro. Roughly about a year until Burger or whatever the other tuning company. No, not Burger. Burger, you could have tuned right away. I bought the Burger tune. It did nothing to it.
You essentially...
APR tune.
you buy cars and get rid of them faster.
And faster, it seems.
Then tunes come out, which is hysterical.
Well, tunes are a year away.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what do you mean?
Most people, if they're unsatisfied with their purchase or their lease, later on after a year or so, then they pull that trigger.
Point is,
you're like 3 weeks in, I can't deal with it.
Correct. Point is, we got the iX. Love the iX. To this day, I still enjoy driving the iX. Like, I'm constantly finding myself going places where normally I'd be like, nope, I don't care to go. This guy's got an Arizona tea bottle on the back of his flatbed. And I'm surprised it's sitting there.
Aerodynamics, my friend.
Aerodynamics of what, a Tacoma? Yeah, great aerodynamics. The shape of a
actually,
brick.
it's not even rolling back and forth. It's just funny thinking. I wish they could see it.
Would he strap it down? Like, I don't understand.
Who knows? But regardless.
So I love the iX. Is it my ideal car? No. Remember the flood that we had? I was kind of hoping and praying that it was going to get flooded. Honestly, I walked outside. I was like, the car's like 3, 4, 5 inches of water.
Yeah, I called you and I'm like, yo, how's everything going over there? And you're just like, yo, I got water coming in like it's the Titanic sinking.
At work, yeah. And I'm like, perfect, bro. My car's going to get fucking water damage.
You're like, yo, you think I should crack the door open a little bit, see if something can go? I go, nope, because if it doesn't do a full job, you're going to be stuck with it.
That's what my biggest fear was. Not exactly that it wasn't going to do a great job and that I was going to have a moldy, crusty, like smelly car. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. It's not worth it because I'm going to get stuck with it. So I was like, no, fuck it.
That would be your luck, though.
It would have been my luck. But ideally, like in a perfect world, like my aspirations, my favorite car, I feel like everybody who knows me, like knows it's been like a dream car for me to get, was the X5M Comp. Like that was always, but honestly.
I think this is better than it.
No. Bite your tongue. Bite your tongue, bro. Are you nuts?
But dude, you even said it before. You're like, I had the X3M, but then I wanted the Comp, that extra 35 horsepower, blah, blah, blah.
But the X5M has always been, like the Comp has always been a dream car of mine. Only because, and everyone jokes, like, yo, with the amount of money you've spent on switching all these cars, you could have bought like 5 of the X5M Comps. It's the same money.
That's not the point.
It's not the point. The point was,
I think you're attaching one word, that too. I think you're attaching one word specifically to one specific vehicle from a specific brand, and you're like, I haven't had it. And you want it.
But that's what I want.
You're the kid in the candy store that has to have what he wants, and that needs to change a little bit.
That's not the, listen, I have a very good ideology. My ideology is we work hard, you play hard. I grind at work 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, and I love one thing in life. Two things in life. Hold on, 2 things in life. I love watches and I love cars. Those are my 2 passions. Those are the 2 things that I honestly would give up our friendship for.
Okay, just go fuck yourself.
Just letting you know, brother. Listen, I know you would too, but at the end of the day, if someone comes up to you and they're like, yo, I have one of my favorite cars. I have a Ferrari 599 GTO. You're telling me you'd be like, yeah, I'd rather be friends with Dimitri over having a Ferrari. I'd be like, Dave who, bro? Speak to him. Yo, I'll blow him up. That guy's going to walk into his house and he's just going to boom in a million pieces for a 599 GTO.
Thanks, bud.
Or a fastback, Ferrari fastback. Oh my God, yes. Super fast. I don't know why fastback, super fast.
I mean, given, because what's really funny, you've always been like, yo, you can get into these cars. You work hard enough, blah, blah. I go, yeah, but I spend my money other ways. And you're like, what? I go, and then I remember the first time I showed you camera prices. Oh my God, you're like,
yeah, bro,
that's more expensive than the exhaust system, and I think it's set of
wheels.
No,
are you dumb? You turn around to me and you were like, yo, I want a $6,000 camera, and then in my head I'm like,
there's no lens.
Hold on.
There's no lens.
I leased the X3M, and it was like $9-10 a month, and I'm doing the math. I'm like, this kid could have it for 6 months for free for one camera, and it was just like the body, and you're like, yeah, then you got to buy like the 128mm lens, you got to buy the 50mm lens, and I'm like, what? No, bro, go get like a dope car. Go do, you know, have fun.
Why did I not see that coming?
Because you don't see shit. Honestly, it annoys the crap out of me, like with shit like that, because it's like, I get it. You could turn around to someone and be like, yo, I spent $30,000 on a Rolex, and they'll look at you and they'll be like, what? Who would spend $30,000 on a watch? So I get it. I have the same like thought with you. Like, who would spend $6K for cameras?
Well, that's because I use it. I use them.
I get it. If you were like a Michelangelo and like every photo you took was like $100, yeah, I'd be running around butt naked snapping photos all around too. But at the same time, you're not. No offense, just saying. So like to spend $7,000 on something that doesn't give you a return on it, it's a little...
Does the car give you a return on it?
Correct, it does. It does. Listen, it does. We live, and it sucks to say, but like it's a truth. We live in New York, one of the most shallowest, shittiest cities of life. What is, you watch TikTok, you watch Instagram, you watch all these stuff. What does everyone go do? They go make fun of these girls, these guys, whatever. Yo, what kind of, if a guy drove a Honda Civic, would you date him? They're like, hell no. So it's like, a part of me doesn't want to conform to it. I just love BMW because I love BMW. It has nothing to do with women liking BMW or not. It's like the biggest tool bag
Also
car.
not shallow.
Yeah, neither am I. But I'm just saying, like, a car at least will kind of get you laid. It's so weird to say, but it's valid. Like, if I was wrong, I'd be like...
So as usual, with the GoPro Minis, we ran into an overheating issue at 30 minutes, and it's not even hot in here.
No, it's really not.
Typical.
We need new
I
tech.
mean, leaving off, I understand. Cars are status symbols. They're you know, they
I
speak.
think we were talking about Mercedes.
Oh yeah.
And like the
oh,
EQ.
oh my God, the EQS, the EQ whatever it is. I like, first of all, the naming on that is just the sedan and then the SUV are pretty much the same name, and then they just say sedan.
Bro,
or
Mercedes is specifically for people who just want to flex that they have Mercedes. There is nothing about a Mercedes that entices people. It's just Mercedes
The name
built up
Mercedes,
this.
yeah.
It built up this flex. Like, oh, yo, I drive a Benz. Yo, when people go to me like, yo, I drive a C63 AMG. Really? Can you give me your money because you have poor taste in vehicles? I'd rather have an M3, a RS5. I'd rather have a 911, not a Cayenne, Cayman. Like, I'd rather have anything else than I'd rather take the bus. That's how I feel about Mercedes.
You want to take a New York City bus?
Then drive a Mercedes in public? Yeah, no. I'd tint the shit out of that and sell it the next day. I'd make sure that, like, even if I pulled up to like a used dealership to like sell it, I'd be like, I'd walk 4 blocks to the dealership and be like, hey bro, where's your car? Like 4 blocks that away.
I still have my issues with Mercedes where I don't honestly trust the car to not have a problem. So here's the thing.
All of them have problems.
The last one, which was a family member, they got it, and they're constantly asking me, "Oh, what do I do? What do I do?" Listen, you open up the hood of a car, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. You might as well tell me it's a rocket ship, and hand me a drink and go, "Huh? Yeah, learn."
Yeah, learn.
I'm literally as dumb as an animal when it comes to looking at an engine.
But in all fairness, hold on. In all fairness, the same bullshit happens with BMW,
Yes.
with Audi, with Porsche, with all of them.
But I'm not lying to you. They must have brought back the car 4 times just for a sensor, for their tire sensors.
Unfortunately,
that was the one for that model. The other one was a wiring, electrical issue with the wiring. The one before that they had.
The more tech these cars get, the more problems they're gonna have. The more this, the
I
more
understand
that.
But 2-3 year leases, you thought that they would learn their
What
lesson.
boggles my mind? No, because again,
bottles.
bottles? Yeah, what bottles your mind?
Okay,
yeah, what are you gonna put them in a vodka bottle? Jesus.
I can use some alcohol. I got a headache.
What boggles my mind is the person that you're referring to gets the car because it is a status symbol.
Yes.
I have achieved the luxury of owning a Mercedes. Little do they know that
the life-changing headache that they will be dealing with.
Dude, honestly, you know how like Antonio constantly jokes with us? And like every time I'm like, yo, I'm thinking about switching my car, what should I get? And he tells me, yo, go get like a 93 Honda Civic bubble butt. That's what I'd rather have than a Mercedes C63 AMG.
I honestly think that'd be a more fun experience, though.
Correct, and it would never break on me.
You would have to probably like throw nuts and bolts into the engine.
So what I love though
Just
the
to break
most
that
is
one.
like people who drive like G-Wagons. Like I love people
Oh.
who go, and they're like, yo, I drive a G-Wagon.
How much
yeah,
is
bro.
that going for now?
150, 160, I think for the 550, and then like 180s for like the G63 AMG. But that's not the point. The point is, it's not a flex.
It's a status symbol.
No, it's not even a status symbol because they're company write-offs. So your company is being forced to spend $3,000 every month so that you can drive around pretending that you're capable of owning a G-Wagon, when the reality is that maybe 10% of the people who actually have G-Wagons can actually afford G-Wagons on their own without having a company like sustain that blow. And it's just like, all right, bro, great, you own a company, it's a write-off, wow, good for you. Like, it's not and it's a box. It literally is a shoebox.
I literally was gonna say it's just a very expensive box,
dude.
And you can't even live in it.
Put a Michael Jordan box with tires and a steering wheel. I'd drive that over a G-Wagon. I don't know. I'm a really bad person with Mercedes. Like, I told you, like, you could literally give me one for free. I'd sell it. I would literally. It could be like something crazy. Like, give me like a AMG GT 63. I would literally be like, all right, up for sale, $50, whatever.
You know what's really funny?
Starting bid.
If you want to compare, like, oh, we're gonna say the box. Well, a Wrangler's a box too. But here's the thing about the Wrangler. I can take it in the snow. I can take it off-roading.
You could do the same thing with a G-Wagon. It's considered the German military version of our Hummer. But that's what it is. Except now they just put plush sheets in it and a nicer infotainment, and it's just like, well, here you go, we're going to war.
But how many people do you realistically know are going to do that with a G-Wagon? Besides,
so there's some crazy people out there.
Besides, like, people like us.
No, realistically, they're going to, like, I don't know, Kima, or they're going to, like, Opus for, like, dinner. Like, that's the extent of off-roading, whatever bumps they hit from their home out to wherever they're gonna go for dinner.
Potholes on the road.
Yeah, like that. I went off-roading. Or hold on, maybe some guy owns like property upstate, and he's like, yeah, I brought my car upstate. They went off-roading. My driveway's still dirt. I haven't paved it.
Land that he owns, that's all grass. Yeah.
With his chicken coop in the back. I don't know, man. Like, again, for me, it's never been my taste. The only Mercedes I owned was forced upon me. It was literally like the best deal money could buy.
It was the better purchase you probably ever made.
What?
In the way of Mercedes and used.
Oh, dude, I told you. It was a 99 Mercedes C230. It was 10 years old, 140,000 miles. My dad picked it up for like $3,700.
I think you have more fun with things like that when you're a kid, too.
When you're a kid, you don't know better. Like, did we have some of our friends who pulled up with, like, Lime Rock M3s back then? They were pulling up with, like, some crazy, like, cars. Yeah, but, like, back then, like, just having any car was like freedom, and having freedom was like the most important thing. You didn't care if it was a Honda or a Ferrari. It was just like freedom.
I never had any of those, so it was like people be like, "Oh, you drive it." And I'm like, "Are you sure? I'm gonna drive it." Foot's gonna be to the floor.
Nailed.
I remember I was in a rush and I had to get gas, and I knew everybody was over by like where we all were. And so I'm in a Nissan Rogue at the time, and I was just coming back from college really quickly. It's like 9:39. I whipped this corner so hard, I got out, and one of the kids was just like, "I'm never getting in the car with you." I go, "Why?" He goes, "The way you just drove that should not be driven that way." He goes,
"Oh, there you go, Nissan Rogue."
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
I had the even older model.
Oh wow, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, so in all fairness, yeah, probably not rally car.
But that's how I drove it.
So like the fact that you're still here with us today is impressive.
Miracle. Yeah. But it's not even that too. It's, I mean, don't get me wrong though. Like, they're Pathfinders, the design wise. I'm not a big fan of how they've had the big logo and the big name of like the car in big letters currently, with how they're doing with all the American versions. I do think that the body work and the design is getting better on them.
So what I think is
more desirable.
We've pretty much come to like the conclusion of what we really wanted to like kind of begin this podcast season off on.
Yeah.
So my thought process is, you and I have a review to go do right now.
Oh yeah.
So, wow, you sound so sad.
I'm just like, oh yeah. Also have a massive migraine, my friend.
Correct. So we'll go get you a bottle of Tylenol. We'll get you some Milky so you can bring it down.
Milky?
And you can be okay. Yeah, some Milky.
Thank you, buddy.
And like I said, we actually have an appointment to go review a Jeep today. So everybody should kind of stop back in and kind of see what Jeep we're going to go review next. And you know what? It's not going to be so much of a review the way we used to do them. I feel like our personalities are much better when it's just kind of like, would we drive it type thing? Like, would we own one?
Yeah.
So
okay.
I feel like that's the way we're going to make the YouTube, our channel's direction go. So log back in, check back out, and you'll see what we've got cooking for you guys.
All right, let's get to it.
Drugs.
Cutting that.
No, you should definitely put that in there.
Turn these off real quick.
Come on! Move!